Hey, this is Nick from Remedy667.com, the best place on the internet for horror-themed fonts and typefaces and maybe other things eventually if I can get it together. Um, Today is Horror Font Friday, in case you didn't know. And we're going to be taking a look at this poster right here, Night of the Cobra Woman. We've got it up on screen. You notice the O is gone because it was a cobra head in the picture. And yeah, the movie we got going on in the background is Track of the Moon Beast from 1976. And we're going to go ahead and get started on pulling letters apart. This is actually pretty neat. It's that C and that G are super close, but this has a lot of really interesting ligatures. It's very like 60s, 70s feel. Could be a pretty fun one to do. I feel like I may have attempted this one in the past off of like something that I found on like Pinterest or something, but this is the real deal. We had a really good sample for this one. So I don't know if you noticed that or not, but I just went through and kind of made some cuts on here. I'm going to borrow pieces from other pieces to fill some stuff in, and I'm going to keep the ligatures kind of in their own world a little bit. So this font also kind of bounces a little bit, which is pretty interesting. So, sorry, I've got to clean up. The first thing I'm going to do here is just do a little bit of housekeeping, cleaning up where the cobra head initially was. All right, this one's got to come down a bit. And up a bit. So that's pretty chill.
And that road leads
Whoops.
to Santa Fe, northeast. And the river's over there.
Paul, where are we exactly?
I'm sorry. We're on the top of San Diego.
What in?
It's 10,600.
That's where that is. Okay.
Up or down. Depending on where you are and your point of view.
Give that a cut. That actually turned out pretty good for being kind of a blind eye cut. I'm going to go ahead and merge that and then just smooth out some of those parts a little bit. And that's a pretty good looking C. I feel like it's probably bigger because it is the capital. So that's something to just kind of take note of. Duplicating the A, it still has that like tilt to the side at the top. You'll also notice that in the T, a little bit on the N and H, not as prevalent though, but that's going to be something that we're going to kind of keep with. We also have those curves on our verticals, and then the adjusting kind of drops on the descenders. So, well, not the descenders, but like all the descending vertical stems. So, I mean, yeah, let's clean up this B and clean up that N, and then we can get it going. I'm pulling those out because that is a ligature all day. I like that there's an HT ligature, but not a TH ligature. That's probably something I'll add. You'll also notice the way these ligatures work is they kind of step up and down a little bit. So that'll be something else that we treat. If we decide to use this with like a faux ligature, we're going to have to do some vertical shifting for our like drop in, drop out letters. But yeah.
Let me clean it up.
All right. So
Then we'll have some
let's
stuff.
finish getting these cleaned up, and then we'll
Then we'll go out afterwards.
get into it here.
Just in case the moon rock hasn't cooled off. It's cool enough to travel now.
Go ahead
Have you
and
got a first aid kit in that bag?
this is going to be another one where we just kind of
I'm still worried about that cut on your head. It could get infected.
Look,
Whoops.
I don't live far from here. And I've got all kinds of antiseptic in my medicine cabinet at my place.
Your place?
actually purchased a bunch of
My place.
new movies today for
Your place then.
both for background and for sampling. Which seems like a dumb, like that's not the word I'm looking for, but it's the closest word I could think of type situation. Actually, I want to use this H. So see how that like tucks right into the B. I wish I had in Photoshop where I could like grab this angle and like askew it a little bit. But that's just a Photoshop pipe dream that does not exist in Illustrator as far as I know. Oh my gosh, that is messy under there. So that's definitely a good thing we're cleaning that up. All right, now before I get too far in here, I want to set my baseline. So it looks like what I'm gonna want to do is I'm gonna set them with my E.
When your parents are divorced, you get used to it. I'd like you to meet a friend of mine.
I want it like right at the mid level there and actually hitting on the bottom. And that's how I'm gonna keep my guides.
His name is Ty.
Ty.
Short for Tyrannosaurus.
Sounds like something in a museum.
Guides.
It is usually.
There's that layer. All right.
Ty looks a lot like a dinosaur.
Sorry.
Or like the dragon the Indians call Avenue.
Thank you for introducing me.
It's
to
one
your
of them
friend.
Fridays.
Well, I hope you didn't frighten.
I actually have more work to do. I keep getting emails. This G, oh my God. It's gonna get confused with the C so bad.
Excuse me, I'll get a closer
I do like that A overshooting a little bit like that. And this is my ligature A. So I actually want this one, if it's going to play the role of a regular A, I want it to be a little bit over right leaning. See how the majority of these are all kind of right leaning like that. And I want that right side to just come in a little bit more. Or come down.
Just need some fresh air.
And that should balance a little bit better and function a little bit better. And then we can do variations on it for the faux ligatures when we get to that part. I feel like this should have a little bit more of a wave, but I'm not going to mess with it because I don't have that kind of steady hand, and I don't see it enjoying that kind of work. I thought it was Night of the Cobra Woman. There we are. There's an H. So this H is going to drop a little bit on the side, and I'm going to keep it like that. Ooh, you know what I should do then? I should drop the A a little bit on the side. See? I'm already lying. And then this side will be up.
Do a lot better off if we take you home. Like that.
Johnny's right, Papa. We're going home.
Hung out in Chicago with a California mind. A lady loving Lord above these cities.
Is this like a proprietary song from a movie from the 70s? Because those are the best.
Just a guitar in my hand, playing all them funky ballrooms and drinking more than I can stand. California lady, won't you bring your love to me?
So that N, see the N's doing the same thing. So our right side vertical stem is going to be dipping below the baseline, and that's just going to be one of the font rules. I remember I used to like, I probably just told myself this a lot, but it's like a thing, you know, like a lot of type design, and you can wash my mouth out with soap, but a lot of it is just, it's all kind of, because it's all visual, like in optical illusions, like essentially it kind of makes sense to approach it in this sort of way, you know, rather than Bezier curves and whatnot.
I'll buy that.
Not necessarily that this way is more correct, because it's not. You typically end up with letters that are a bit more have a bit more points to them, which, you know, it can be good or bad. But at the same time, we're making display fonts, so we're not, our expectation is not that people are going to be like setting a whole page or even a paragraph of copy like this. I mean, unless it's like for liner notes or stuff like that, but even that's like a pretty small document. You're not writing like a full book, you know. I like how this kind of echoes that's got to move to the right some. A group. That's actually like an impossible loop, because this goes all the way over, which suggests that it extends beyond, but then I also have it poking out down here. What I probably actually should have done was brought this curve in a little earlier, but I don't know if that would really work that well either. This doesn't really appear to work either. I think what I'm going to have to do is bring it over like this, and then this will yeah, I think that's it. And then that is where we will have the perfect. Sorry, over here mumbling to myself. It's pretty interesting audio, huh? All right, we are going to make our S with our C. You've seen me do this a million times. You just cut it in half, and then you are going to reflect the bottom half. I'm going to want to shorten this one, but still kind of try to keep a similar shape. And this side is going to wrap way around. This is a very right-leaning S. And I think part of that problem came from the fact that the C was very like kind of angular. So I'm gonna push the top to the left a little bit. I should just do this instead of waving my hands around. I want this curve to be a little more pronounced, and then up like that. And same thing over here. What do you think is wrong with this S? Do you think that I should have left the back higher? Do you think I'm dipping into this angle a little too hastily? I think, whoops, I can smooth those over a little bit. I think this can come up a little bit. Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody found the monster. That actually kind of looks like it fits. I'm wondering though, if it should go like that. Sorry, some kind of noise was going on outside. Had to get nosy. This R was part of a ligature, and that A went up a little bit. So one thing I'm going to do with this R is select that one, those two, and those two, and just bring it down a little bit, just so it won't collide. And I'm also going to smooth this side out a little bit. I don't know who's out there driving around all crazy. I don't think they're delivering mail today. I had I was pretty excited. I ordered a bunch of press books, which is what this came from, but I'd ordered 2 separate packs, and they were both supposed to get here on Monday. This one got here on Wednesday, and now the other one doesn't have a... They removed the date of when it's supposed to get here. It's sitting at the DC, one town over, and it's been there since 4 days, the last 4 days. So I don't know. The other one, the one that they delivered, it never even said it had left the DC. It just showed up on the porch. So I don't know what they're doing at the local post office, but I don't necessarily trust it right now. I just want them to deliver the stuff for me to make the fonts. And I'm sure everybody would enjoy that.
That mark is made by a human hand. Well, I would agree with you except for one thing. You tell me what kind of human makes a footprint like that.
This is gonna dip way more in.
When I got that radio call, I thought someone had made a real goof. When I saw Harris, I had to believe. Harris first one, built by
Rub your nose, rub your neck.
was nearly 7 feet tall.
It's very muggy,
Had hands with
so everything's kind of itchy.
walked on feet like I've never seen before. Now that's why I had to bring you here, John.
But I also got some DVDs of movies that will also have good samples
What kind of problem it is.
for us to work from.
You're an anthropologist, Johnny. I thought just maybe.
And those are also coming. And those are like, oh, they'll be here tomorrow. But it also says like they're in the New Jersey DC. And I'm like,
Where?
if they're in the New Jersey DC, they're going to get to my DC tomorrow. And then they're going to sit in my DC for the next 4 days.
Have your men let a plastic out the track?
Because apparently they're not delivering mail today.
We might get a
Um,
from the paleontology department.
And that is my USPS rant
Department head, Dietz. He's a friend of mine.
for the day.
Now, the casting should
Till
be
tomorrow when I'm like, did my package come? And I go and sign on there to track it, see if it's out for delivery, and it says, oh no, now it's going to be delivered on Monday or Tuesday. I actually think this one will get delivered tomorrow, though, because this one that's supposed to come tomorrow moved out of the DC. But it's one of the DVDs that I ordered, which I'm less concerned with, because that is a project I'm going to get to more in the future.
I agree with Professor Salinas. Your casting
To make the J, I'm going to use this eye.
Some very, very large lizard.
I still can't believe that there are lizards that big in New Mexico, or anywhere else for that matter.
Sorry, Captain McCabe, you're wrong about that. There is a lizard we call Varnus comodensis. There's some photos of him over in the paleontology lab, who grows to be all of 10 feet long. He's
We
quite
are
tall.
fans of the Postal Service around here, though. We use them a lot. We give them a lot of business, both through our day jobs and through our
Somehow on the loose. It wouldn't be what you're looking for.
not so day jobs.
Walks on 4 feet. This indicates a lizard that can walk upright. Some form of reptile, mostly related to
This needs to come in like there. Perfect. Where's this dinosaur symbol they're painting all over the place? Do I have anything? Part of me wonders if I should make... Oh my gosh, there's an M. Look at that mess, huh? You love it when I tear stuff apart in front of a million other things. That's not confusing at all, correct?
How do you feel today, Paul? Oh, a lot better than yesterday. Hi.
Hi.
Hey, they're pretty good. But you should see Johnny work with the boat. Our scholarly anthropologist here was the conference archery champ in college. I've seen his boat. How about a little demonstration before I can?
All right. Come on, Johnny Lonzo. I'd like you to live up to your name.
So that M needs to get a little bigger. Notice how this M is also doing the reversal of what the other ones are doing, where it's kind of dropping on the left side a little lower instead of the right.
Even the airlines.
Let's
Everything is authentic.
grab the K, or the V to complete the K.
Okay, Johnny. Now let's really impress them.
I'm chopping that right there. Delete. That is beautiful. Stretch it out a little bit. Oh, that might have been too much. No, it actually looks not bad. And we're gonna smooth it into those. Was a little too much on this inside here. That I just want to round out a little better. Otherwise, that's not too bad. I really wish their smoothing brush worked a little better. Another thing, I don't know, sorry, this just popped in my head. I think I might have mentioned it in a previous video, and I might have mentioned it today, but the new Glyphs 4 that they're talking about, I wonder if it'll be, if it's gonna kind of function more like vector type programs, if you can set up like layer styles, like in Illustrator and Photoshop. That would be pretty nice because,
You're not talking me out of it this time.
whoops, I want the L to go to the left.
You need looking after.
That would be very useful for
Did you take the aspirin?
Yes, Master.
me.
There.
For expanding type.
If you should need anything, I'll be right in the den, okay?
Okay.
Families. Sorry. There's no D. I knew this was going to be... I knew this was going to be tricky. Alright. Let's actually use this H. It's a little thinner, which is kind of weird. So is this O. But it'll lend itself to the design. I'm going to go ahead and merge that. I know it looks like crap, but these are going to need hand drawn. See how they function in the B? Way smoother. And then this interior, even though it looks a lot more like an O when I do it like this and just draw it like, just draw a circle like that. That's the system. That's the constraint that we are working within, and that's gonna keep it consistent with everything else. Come on. Why does this not... I'm gonna have to change my glasses and get way up in the screen. I think I just put it back how it was after moving it. All right. Let's go for the Y. The X and the Z. W, X, Y, Z. Actually, for the Z, I'm also going to use the T for the Z, because the E is weird. So let's get into this X first, which definitely is going to be made from this V. I want to reflect this. I wanted to reflect both of those, apparently.
2 for you, and 2 winning cards for the big winner of the night. Okay?
I want to cut this also. I'm not sure what's happening.
Paul. Paul. When I woke up and couldn't find you anywhere in the house, I got so worried. What are you doing out here?
My room. I couldn't get back to sleep.
It must have been chilly out here last night. You could have caught cold.
I want that to be lower.
Sometimes you act like such big babies. Come on. I'll make you some breakfast.
I don't necessarily like this X, but I feel like it is correct in how it is drawn.
But he did manage to say something.
It might
about a
work.
lizard. A big lizard. A big lizard that walks like a man.
Seems to me I've heard that expression before.
Maybe. Something your friend Beats said about a dinosaur.
The Tyrannosaurus. Well, there have been discoveries of supposedly extinct creatures dating back to the dinosaur age.
Is this guy gotta write a news story on a dinosaur?
Still alive.
Is this like the Jurassic Park version of Transylvania 999?
Maybe there is a dinosaur still alive. Up in the hills. Something drove it out of the hills. Now it's on loose.
Professor Salinas, those poor men murdered in the hills last night. Have the police found out who did it?
Only some theories.
So this one, not very smooth at all for the X.
They're the pictures Kathy took at the
Or
NASA.
for the Z. Well, or for the X. Which is too bad, because I felt like I was on a really good roll with making this font kind of
Oh, this one.
having this
I don't really
classic
know.
smoothness.
Probably
I also don't want to make a whole
lightly
video
put
of
out
me
there.
just
It's on the original
pixel
transparency,
pushing.
too. I was going to check with the lab in town later.
How is he, by the way?
Well, he seemed a little better when Janet and Bud called for me before, but he still had a headache. I'm worried about him. Those headaches he's been having.
Been having those headaches since the day after that meteor shower. Didn't you tell me he hit his head in the ground that night? When he tried
Somebody
to
having
shoot
headaches
the
ever since the
meteorite?
meteor?
That's right. He got a cut on his head. More like a scratch. Just a little one.
It's possible Paul may have gotten more than a scratch. A light concussion, maybe.
Then you think
But don't worry. I said it might be a light concussion. It's nothing really serious. I'll tell you what.
There, that's a much smoother looking Z.
Take him to a hospital.
This X, there's just something.
And do a cranial X-ray. Check him out. He'll be back to normal and back to you in no time at all.
I don't know. I'm not gonna do anything else to the X. I'm not happy with it, but
Checked out. Save your trip.
I'm not sure exactly
I want to get you off my
what would
hands.
make me happy with it. So
Johnny, you're one hell of a guy.
I'll be right back and we'll do some numbers. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to dive into numbers. And I was looking at this in context, and the X totally needs redrawn, and I believe the S probably does too. I kept, the way I was putting it together, it fits with the way that the other round characters look, but it doesn't necessarily
Somewhere.
successfully function as an S. And the X The X is too thin. It's got a million problems. But I want to do the numbers first because I want to see how these translate into the numbers. So we are going to start with that. We go in a little bit with the O, in a little bit, and take that a little higher. This, I'm not going to track it up because
it's like in those werewolf tales when there's a full moon in Transylvania. Gee, honey, I've known you for a long time. You've got to be kidding.
I wish I was getting back. I'm not. But there is an answer.
that's a pretty good looking one. All right.
It makes me sick to think about it.
This way it functions as a 2.
What you say is true.
Parts of it I like. I kind of like how
The way the meteorite.
this is so horizontal. And I thought I was actually going to want to draw this to come,
Then there's something I've got
oops,
to know.
to come more like that. But no way. I like the way this looks, and I think it fits. I sound like the way I sounded earlier before I was looking at.
How much time do I have?
Be sundown in half an hour. The moon will be up in an hour or so after that.
So that's what's going on with the 3.
Before anything happens, I want to talk to Kathy.
I'm sure that can be arranged.
She's at the reservation. I'll phone her now.
Pretty solid. I want these. Wait a minute.
Some idea of what he might have
Did you catch that?
just to
I did.
I'll try.
On that wrong layer again. So those, I want
We're not sure.
all that, and that's just going to go down a little bit.
In fact, moving him here was his idea.
But surely.
This is a hospital. We can't afford to take any chances. The moon is a strong effect on the earth. Look what it can do to the tides. In Paul's case, it may trigger a
So this 5
temporary mutation.
I want to see him.
theoretically is going to function like that, right?
Please.
I kind of like this 5 too. I feel like that way that pops out doesn't need to do that. It can.
Nearly sundown now. You shouldn't be in there much longer.
All right, I'll get her.
Tuck in a little bit. This 6 should be easy peasy. It's literally, I'm not even going to use the O. That should cut up a little bit, and this should go up a little bit
No.
and round out. I'm going to delete that outer O, and I'm going to grab this and go in and knock it out. And I actually want it to go up a little bit as well, just a little smaller. And that's pretty nice. The 3 to me is the only one that looks really weird. And it's not that it looks weird. I think the problem with it is that it needs to a little bit of an overshoot and then to be pinched in a little bit, and then this middle part can come back out. I don't know. Well, I don't know. kind of digging that gap in the 5. I don't know. Okay, so the 8's going to get a little weird. So essentially what it's going to do is the same way we... And this is where we're running into some of those root problems with the S. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to build an 8 the way I used to do it a long time ago by stacking O's.
It was me.
We give it some overshoot.
Your fault, son. They won't convict you. They won't even blame you when people look back.
This side I want to come in a little bit. Whoa, not that much. Or maybe I just want it down a little bit. No.
Dr. Sutton's been in touch with NASA about your case. Sending one of the top neuroscientists, one of the finest brain surgeons in the country. See that particle of meteor in the front part of your brain? It's causing the problem. When it's removed,
Group.
you won't have a thing to
So
worry
that's
about. You can go back to leading your normal
a different way of building an 8. I haven't really built one like that in a while, but I feel like with this typeface, the weird complexities kind of happening with some of those characters, that was definitely the way to go for that solution. Whoops. That's gonna have to be like that. I don't like that weird extendedness in the bottom of the 8. I know that that comes from that's better.
Would you fasten your seatbelts, please? We'll be landing
Reflect.
shortly.
Okay.
In about 20 minutes. The captain got a message a few minutes ago. You and Dr. Lawrence will be met at the airport.
So this is going to need a little bit of work, and I think the best way to do it is to go that way and then cut this in down here a little bit,
I must admit,
go
I was
up.
pretty startled last night when I got the call.
So was I. I've never come up against a case anything like it. I've had a few unusual ones, I would say.
We've been worried at NASA all
And the
through
same as the
Apollo
6
program about the
with this
possibility that
9.
something could cause a mutated life form. Nothing
We
ever
are
happened.
going to
Till now.
delete that and
Oh, Paul, this is Dr. Rizzo.
How are you, Paul? I'm going to be operating on you in just a little while.
knock it out. But
What happens now? We're going to make another set of X-rays
this
just to check on
side's a
the
little too
New
much.
set will give us an exact
Look kind of like a turtle.
spot in the left frontal lobe where it is. I thought you should see these right away, Doctor.
I think we should look at these inside.
Matter.
So then you see how the 8 doesn't necessarily belong. It needs some softer edges in these connectors.
Look at the difference in the affected areas. You'll notice considerable change, Doctor.
Or these like pointy
There's been a definite growth.
intersections. I don't know. I'm just using the wrong words now. Not because I want to, but because
Brain has
I'm
disintegrated,
tired.
and energy factors are spreading through his entire system.
It's Friday. I had a long day of work. I still got to do a couple things. So, yeah. I'm tired.
Neutralizing effect, Doctor.
I would say I'm not a super fan of some of these letters. I feel like
Unstable element here.
this is probably a piece
We don't know it.
that I would bring into the iPad and draw. These smooth lines just don't really lend themselves to the mouse. way that I normally draw. It's just a little more tricky. But I think a lot of it looks really good. And you can, like, this is,
By then it'd be too late.
whoops. This is how it looks in font self. Like, you can see most of it looks pretty good. But the X, this looks weird. The S looks weird. The AZ looks a little weird, little bit of a gap there, which is fine. That it'll you notice how it works with the I as well. It kind of comes out a little bit on the bottom left, and I think what I'll do is I'll just create a collision, have it run in. Which is same with the K. The K on the top right needs to just collide into whatever's next to it. But the X just throws you off all the time. The S is not as bad, but the S is pretty bad. It just needs more negative space in the middle, I think, is part of its problem. And the S, more negative space. The X, less negative space. And I think that's the issue. So instead of moving on, we're gonna go back into those two letters and fix them. Well, try to fix them. So I feel like with the S, giving it more negative space first.
Paul, don't.
I want to kind of give it a little less negative space. Whoops.
I need a few minutes. I've got to get away from here.
And a lot of that's just opening
Get
these
away
up
where?
I don't know.
and smoothing that one out a little bit more.
Being locked up here again.
Will I see you again?
I don't know. I want you to go back to Dr. Sutton's office. And if anybody asks where I am, I want you to tell them I'm on the roof. That'll keep him busy enough for a few minutes. Long enough for me.
I won't do it.
Kathy.
So, and that actually gets the S a little bigger. I feel like that looks like that might work a little better. Let's go ahead and take a look. So we'll select all this. We'll grab our guide layer and jump back into font self. Now remember, saxophones right there. I'm gonna hit A to Z. It's already got its
It did happen.
spacing,
That's all I know.
but we're gonna redo its 15. Let's look at advanced. So now saxophone. So it's a lot closer than it was. I feel like on seeing letters like the C, it's feeling like the font gets a bit thinner on the left and thicker on the right. I need a little more negative space on the right. I can see that right away. This line right here, which I thought needed to come up a bit, does not. It needs to come down a little bit. And this can actually thin even thinner.
Stunts I've ever seen. That kid think he can get away?
I'm not trying to get away. You don't understand. You just don't.
Gee willikers. I keep wanting to put this... It's not a hard edge, because this is a very soft font, but it's a little too hard for...
I'd like a 12 gauge
for everything else to like to feel and look like it belongs. If that makes sense. These angles are just a little. Those were the. I feel like it also should probably come up a little bit on the left. So this one. Just pulling it up a bit. And thinner.
We got a report on him. You want up a gunshot?
All right, let's move over to the X.
But left without it.
That's a total
I
redo.
don't think he wants it as a weapon. He wants to kill him.
So it wants to be redone
Why does no one?
with the V.
Because we overheard what Dr. Lawrence said in the other office.
And we're going to go ahead and cut the
That's
Y.
You might be wrong, Mac. He's on a motorcycle. If he wanted to kill himself.
So
Crashes don't always kill people. He knows that. Now you try to find some way that was fast, foolproof.
rotate that out. This actually feels a lot better. That's 2 off. But that
All right.
right there.
We had some kind of lead on anything.
That feels right. Go ahead and mush it together like clay.
It's always so peaceful, so quiet.
I can't stand us waiting around. I think it would be better if I went back to the reservation, don't you?
I guess so.
I gotta hide the guides. There's like a snap to, which is annoying that it still works when the guides are,
I'll phone you if we hear anything.
I was gonna say, not selectable, but you know what? They might be. But it's always trying to snap to them, and it drives me nuts. Even though it's I'm the one who set it up like that. That X feels 90 times better. Is it a complete, fully realized X? I don't know. Probably not. But I bet you the word fix is going to look a lot better in Fox and xylophone. So let's go back home. A to Z. Just replace them. And redo the smart spacing. And take a look at our advanced tab. That's much better. It's still not there. I feel like I might want to rotate it to the left a little bit, and it feels like it wants to be a little bit thicker. I might rotate the Z a little bit to the left too, and maybe even the S. So here we go. We're gonna make a couple other changes real quick. That's how I save my alternates. You just drag them.
They found the motorcycle.
All right, so the Z is gonna
44.
just
He took a spill,
smooth out a little bit. This is going to,
but he probably walked away all right. They couldn't find him anywhere around the area.
That road leads up to Santia Crest. Of course, that's gotta be it.
also gonna dip
Over the years, I
there on the bottom right, like we had talked about earlier.
troubled. But one place where he felt free was Santia Crest.
That was. Whoops. don't know what I just did there. I was probably making a stupid face and clicking too fast. Did I also say I was going to lean this? We'll just lean it one. The S, I did say I was going to lean. And I also want to make it a little bigger for some reason. Like wider, maybe? Like this.
I know what you intend to do, but you mustn't. Please, you can't.
I don't know how you found me, but you've got to leave now.
No, Paul. I want to be with you.
Part of me wants to adjust that bottom left one, but I also feel like it's currently functioning good, so all right. Let's take a look at these. Go back into our advanced items. That looks a lot better. That S feels pretty good. That X works really well. Sort of. It's still got a little bit too much on the left. But the Z's got a lot of wide open negative space. I think that's probably fine. With that EX, that feels really open. And the AZ, it's just too much. All right, I have to thicken up the Z. That's the word on the street. I feel like I originally had it pretty thick too, which is funny. So just thickened it up a little bit.
Please, Paul, my foot is cut. Help me.
That S, the bottom left just needs a little bit cut off. And there's like a bit of a hump on the top. So I want this cut in just a little bit. And this little bump here, not to be a bump. Probably don't want that bump there either. I like the bump at the top though, but uh-oh, sounds like somebody found that monster again. Alright, so this is going to be the end. This is, how we're calling it. Replace all of them. Smart space and kern. That S is going to need tracked in a little bit. How'd that Z come out? That Z is still a little weird, but the negative space is a lot better. I think it just kind of some negative spacing on like the Z and the K and the X will, and the E will definitely help this out. I should probably make the circle and the D a little smaller too. But you know what? That is for a later time. Thank you for joining us for Horror Font Friday with Track of the Moon Beast from 1978 and going through and editing some alphabets from Night of the Cobra Woman. It's a night of a moon and a beast. And yeah. Check us out, remedy667.com. We got all sorts of wild fonts that are influenced by classic horror films, and even ones that aren't, ones that are made up and all that. But most of them are horror based. But yeah. All right, have a good weekend. I will see you later. You're the best. Keep on keeping stuff.